What is going on, guys? Jeff here, Mad Hatter's Reef, and today we are going to be taking a look at the top 10 items needed for fragging corals. Now, before we jump into any of that, last week we uploaded a video where we took a look at fragging Aquarium. So if you want to check that video out, there's going to be a link to it in the description below. Now, a lot of the products that we're going to be talking about in today's top 10 is going to be stuff featured from my online store, Corals Unlimited. So if you want to support me and everything that I do here, there's going to be links in the description below, which will bring you to those products that we're talking about in today's video. There's also going to be some stuff featured from Amazon, so there'll be links down there for that as well. Now, before we jump into the top 10, there is a product or products that we need to discuss before we get into the top 10, and that is personal protective equipment such as safety glasses and gloves. Now, these items pretty much go without saying. It's very important to make sure that you are taking precautions when you are cutting corals because things can go wrong, and you need to put those safety measures in place to protect you and also the ones around you. So personal protective equipment, without saying, is one of the most important things that you can do for you and protecting yourself from some of the stuff that can come with fragging corals. All right, so we got that out of the way. Let's kick things off with number 10, and we have Boston Aquafarm's super thick reef glue. Now, when folks kind of get into fragging corals, they eventually develop habits. Those habits form into opinions, and a lot of folks will talk about like, well, I only use this type of glue or that type of glue. For me, I use a number of different types of glue, and each one of them kind of serves its own purpose. Now, this would be a larger container of glue, and what I would use a larger container of glue for is when I am fragging a lot of corals. There's a lot of plugs on the tray. We're talking, 50 to 100 corals that are getting fragged in one shot. I want a basically one shot of glue because in a lot of cases with these larger containers, the glue will lock up in the nozzle and eventually it will be almost useless at that point. So, there's a couple different things that you need to consider with that. And when I'm gluing a large number of corals, this stuff is definitely the choice for me. So check it out. Boston Aquafarm's 2-ounce reef glue. Coming in at number 9 on our top 10 items needed for fragging corals is the BAF Coral Frag discs. Now, I don't use these all the time. Typically when I use these, I'm dealing with some type of encrusting coral, such as a zoanthid or some type of Monipora. Outside of that, when I use these, I am typically using them as a counterweight. You get a little bit more material with the disc, so it has a nice weighted bottom, and if I have a coral that is a little bit on the top heavy side or even just a little bit too big to put onto a plug, that's when I'll use a disc. What I like about Boston Aquafarm's Coral Frag disc is that they are incredibly consistent, which is something that you might not find in other products, and they are also decent price, so that's why they're coming in at number 9. Coming in at number 8 on our top 10 items needed for fragging corals is a good old-fashioned soft coral scalpel. Now, this is something that I don't use that often anymore, and it was like my weapon of choice back in the day. I find that nowadays I typically am fragging LPS and SPS type corals, which that really doesn't work with a scalpel. Granted, a scalpel can help in some circumstances when you are fragging those corals, but generally your soft coral scalpel is going to be used for soft corals. This week I'm probably going to be uploading a video on fragging zoanthids, and there's a pretty good chance that I'll be breaking this relic out to get that done. So if you want to stay up to date on all Mad Hatter Reef videos, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell so you can be notified when that happens. Coming in at number 7, we got the Reef Glue Accelerator. This is my secret weapon and something I use quite a bit. We actually talked about this product in last week's video when we were fragging Acropora, and I also featured this product in last month's members video, which every month I'm going to be doing a exclusive video just for the members. If you want to join the members, there is a button below that will show you what it's all about, and you can sign up there. But this stuff's pretty awesome. I use it quite a bit. I actually need to get some more for myself. And this is a product that I use when I am dealing with top heavy frags that I need to glue extremely fast. Coming in at number 6, we got Polyblab Premium Coral Frag Glue. This stuff is my absolute favorite. Now, some of you probably be like, Jeff, you already showed us glue. Well, there's a difference between the two products. We talked about the larger container for larger gluing sessions. This is the stuff I use in smaller gluing sessions, and it's a lot better than some of the other glues out there because it actually keeps pretty well. And what I mean by that is that you can use some of it, you can put the cap on it, set it aside, and let's say a week later you go back to use the rest of it and it's still going to work. The cap, for whatever reason, doesn't get gummed up, and that's what I like about this product, is that you're going to be able to use the entire product. That is going to get locked up and then be pretty much trash at that point. I also like that it has like this little gasket in the collar, which you have to remove, and you don't have to poke the little hole for the glue to come out. You just cinch down on the cap and it is going to pop and it's ready to go. Probably my most favorite glue to use. Check it out, the Polyblab Premium Coral Frag Glue. Now coming in at number 5, we got a twofer. We got the Soft Coral Propagation Starter Kit from Boston Aqua Farms, as well as the Stony Coral Propagation Starter Kit. These two products are pretty similar. The difference is with the Stony, you get the bone cutters, and with the Soft, you get the Scalpel. Now, what I like about these starter kits is it comes with everything that you could possibly need to get started. It comes with some form of cutting tool, glue, the Accelerator, plugs, and also this neat little LED light that you could take to trade shows to kind of inspect the health of corals. Definitely everything that you could possibly need to get started outside of personal protective equipment and maybe some small containers of glue, because we already talked about the 2-ounce glue bottle being really good for large glue sessions. But outside of that, great little starter kit that's going to give you just about everything that you need to get started with coral fragging. And coming in at number 4, we got a Rubbermaid commercial bin. Now, what I absolutely love about this product versus some of the bins that I've used in the past, which I have featured on videos, is they're pretty rugged, they're going to last a long time, and they're also food grade, which some of the bins that I've used in the past have not been food grade level plastic. So that's something to consider if you're an individual that is looking to make sure that you are keeping a pure environment for your corals. Doesn't matter if you're cutting them up or dipping them or what the case may be. There's definitely something to be said about opting for that little bit more expensive, cleaner plastic. Coming in at number 3 on our top 10 items needed for fragging corals is Reef Plugs from Boston Aqua Farms. Now, this is my go-to plug. This is the plug that I use the most, even in comparison to the discs. They're relatively inexpensive as far as price point goes. They are incredibly consistent with their quality and pretty rugged to boot. Now, the reason I use this product probably more so than the disc is because it's a little bit more space saving. And like I said at some point during this video, I am more often fragging LPS and SPS type corals. And when you are talking about a frag rack in comparison with the plugs and the disc, the plugs use up a lot less space and you have a lot more product in a given area, which when you start getting into aquaculture, space is incredibly important. And that's why I use the Boston Aqua Farms ceramic reef plugs. Coming in at number 2 in our top 10 items for fragging corals is large tweezers. Go figure. Now, you can use these in a number of different instances when it comes to reef keeping, but what I like to use the tweezers for when I am using some type of locking frag rack. They are probably the best way to pull a plug out from that type of rack. And also I will use them when I am using the accelerant like we talked about earlier in this top 10. Makes for a great way to handle the coral and not get your hands in the glue, which I have been known to make that mistake on occasion. It's just a very useful tool that I have found when it comes to fragging corals. So tweezers, who knew? They are definitely a very important part of fragging corals, and I have found that they serve a great purpose when I'm trying to handle the coral a little bit less, because sometimes these fingers don't work the way that I want them to anymore. Check it out, the Boston Aqua Farms large tweezers. And drum roll, please. Coming in at the #1 spot on our top 10 items for fragging corals is the large stony cutters. All right, folks, that's going to do it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. And if you want to dive a little bit deeper into fragging Acropora, check this video out. I will see you over there.